This video is brought to you by Omaze. Head over to omaze.com/DudeinBlue for your chance to win this 2021 Porsche 911 Turbo S and $20,000 in cash, all to support a great cause. What's going on, Chris?
What's up, buddy?
Today, we're doing something pretty special, actually. It's a big change. A lot of you guys say, still to this day, that Smurf is your favorite car in the ThatDudeinBlue fleet. And we've been giving it some love the past year. We've been trying to make it better again. And it's not that it's a bad car, it's getting old. Here at SSR Collision, we had a really good idea where Chris was basically like, how about we take Smurf to the next level by still keeping it Smurf? What we're gonna be doing is repainting Smurf, which you're gonna be like, wait, how? So basically what we're doing is, if you remember when the Focus RS came out, they released a color called Nitrous Blue. The base coat's the same as Grabber Blue, so the good thing is that nothing really changes when it comes to being far away or anything on pictures and stuff like that. But it has this really beautiful flake to it in the sun. And we always were spitballing like, be kind of cool if like a 13 Mustang had nitrous blue instead of Grabber Blue. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the idea of we're gonna do nitrous blue and then maybe add a little bit of a spin to it with some extra pearls or something along those lines.
Make it a little bit more custom.
And we're gonna do the roof tuxedo black. So that way, you know, you can tell something's different. Mr. Chris,
yes.
What is the first step?
Obviously, we're gonna get as much lighting as we can. This is best lighting we're gonna get right here. We're gonna go through the car and we're gonna try and find every discrepancy that we can see on the car. Once you disassemble the car, parts start spreading out. You end up with this issue where, oh, I wish I would have took care of that because I wish I would have saw it. I wish I would have dealt with it then. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find every discrepancy that we wanna address in the paint prior to us disassembling the car. That way, if it's circled, boom, we gotta deal with it. We'll get it all squared away. Car's got, what, over 112,000 miles. So the clear is a little bit faded. You can kind of hear she's got some oxidation on her. She's got some surface contaminants in it. So we want to look for rock chips, any deep scratches, and then obviously take apart the car, do any kind of minor body work that we're going to do, and then get this thing through paint.
These have always bugged me. And these happened like right after I bought the car. Back in like 2013, this giant rock chip happened. But don't get me wrong, I'm proud that my car has rock chips because it shows I actually drive it.
Yeah, you use it. It's a big difference of somebody that lets their car sit in the garage.
It's like the person who buys a Porsche GT3 RS with the full cage and everything and it's perfect paint. Yeah, it's like, bro, come on now. So we're actually gonna do this custom green and blue design. Okay, so one thing we're gonna address is, you see this bumper gap right here? Well, with the S197s, for whatever reason, whenever they get rear-ended and you have to replace the bumper, they never really like to go back the same way.
The clips that hold the bumper tend to get weaker over time, so we're actually gonna replace both sides so we don't have to worry about that separation because it's happening on the other side too. So.
Yeah, it's like a little sag.
Yeah.
It's weird. A person with a really good eye in a body shop will see things that you don't. Like, Chris is going through all this stuff, circling all these things, and I was like, I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, but I mean, the good thing is that's why he's a professional and good at what he does. And this was his idea in the beginning. Wouldn't it be so cool if we just added that extra flair? And especially after we did the interior last year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
helps
absolutely.
out. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the teardown of the Mustang, I just wanted to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor, Omaze. Omaze gives you a chance to win life-changing experiences and prizes, all while raising money for nonprofit organizations. I've partnered with Omaze today to give you the chance to win the brand spanking new 2021 Porsche 911 Turbo S. The 2021 Porsche 911 Turbo S is the fastest and most luxurious Porsche 911 ever produced. And along with that, they hook you up with $20,000 in cash. The new Turbo S is an absolute monster with a 640 horsepower, 3.8 liter twin turbocharged flat six that rips you 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. It's got a beautiful leather interior and all the dialed in and precision performance that you expect from a Porsche. Sport Chrono Package, Sport Plus mode that can adjust the active aero components like the rear wing and the front spoiler. Adaptive 18-way sports seats. Your entry is not just a chance to win, but it also supports the International Medical Corps. It's a global first responder that responds to urgent emergency care. They dispense medical supplies, hygiene kits, mobile medical teams, mental health support, all while remaining flexible to addressing other needs as they arise. Your donation will help the International Medical Corps establish an emergency response drawdown fund to support fast and effective humanitarian aid to ensure the most impactful relief. To potentially win this 2021 Porsche 911 Turbo S and support the International Medical Corps, make sure to head over to Omaze.com/DudeinBlue. Thanks so much, guys, and let's tear this car down.
By the way, for people asking about my front Virginia plate, that's pretty much just for show now. Because people like to see that this is Smurf when I'm coming towards them at car shows and stuff. They get really excited, so I left it on there. But yeah, I live in Georgia. That's a Virginia plate that's expired. So just an FYI. I don't live in Virginia anymore. Everybody still seems to think I do when they email me, but.
Chris, you want to do the wing in tuxedo black as well, right?
The reason we're gonna do, if you did the roof in tuxedo black, for those of you that don't know, tuxedo black is Ford's metallic black. I'm gonna try and keep everything in the Ford family. Not that really colors matter, so to speak, or who they come from. Whatever looks best looks best. Cadillac has a black diamond pearl that looks kind of close to tuxedo, but anyway, circling back, doing the wing in tuxedo black is gonna match the roof. We're also gonna color match a brand new set of 5.0 badges for the fenders, so that theme is gonna carry through the whole vehicle. Whoever painted the back end of this car.
I mean, it's almost like you've been with this car before.
It's almost like I painted from the doors back already.
So all of the green marks are all things that need to be addressed with bodywork after disassembly. So the reason we got to do that before is that it's a cohesive look to it. It's easier to spot the discrepancies before you take it apart.
So believe it or not, the day I got this car, I plasti dipped this emblem because when I got the car, I was like, I want black emblems because I didn't like the chrome. But it just goes to show that if you use plasti dip correctly and you apply it right, it lasts really well and it still peels off. Look at that. This is from 2012 and it peels off perfectly.
Oh, big piece.
Satisfaction. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Oh no! So Chris here wants to explain how to take these off on the roof.
So if you pry up on these too much, they are going to bend and you're gonna be buying new ones. These are aluminum, covered with a small amount of black vinyl
They
trim.
look like they're rubber, but they're not.
Yeah, no, they are a real thin piece of aluminum, so if you pry up on them trying to get them out of your roof, they're gonna end up breaking. Just keep prying up. That one's the worst one, is the third one. There you go.
Well, okay.
There you go.
I was expecting it to kind of do the little one by one, but then it just did all of them at once. And I was like, oh no, I broke it! We got a lot of the trim off of the car, disassembled quite a bit of it. Basically, we're to the point where we can get started doing some of the prep work and repair. And the good thing is about the taillights, the wing, all that good stuff. You can take that stuff off in literally 5 minutes. It's just like 4 or 5 bolts for each part. But we're gonna go ahead and start with the hood.
Yeah, we'll start, we're gonna go ahead and fix some rock chips. We've got them all circled out, little spots on the hood that we're gonna deal with. It's an aluminum hood, so you really don't have to worry about it rusting. However, we're gonna go ahead and start with 180 grit and kind of feather these rock chips out. I know some people will say, oh, well, you can just smooth them, fill them with some, you know, a glaze coat or some little bit of filler, and then prime over them. That's not a proper repair. The filler's gonna sink. Body filler's not a matter of if it's gonna fail, it's when it's gonna fail.
Yeah.
So we wanna use as minimal, if none, if possible, to fix this entire car. Luckily, you don't have any door dings on this car. Surprisingly, this thing's in
I don't know how.
great shape.
This thing has been cross country, up and down the East Coast. It's been literally everywhere.
All right, so we're gonna take these headlights out once we get it a little bit closer, just because there's some open connectors. We're really not doing anything up under there, but when we go to paint that, or the entire car, we are gonna take the headlights out. No keyboard warriors.
To be clear,
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna start 180 in these little white specks down to the aluminum. So see, even though I'm all the way past down to the what we call the E-coat, they're still there. So you can't stop. You have to keep going until they're completely gone. So now they're completely gone. What we'll do is we'll feather them out from that point, trying to impact it as least as possible to make sure that they're completely smooth. When you're trying to feather something out to make sure that it's going to be as smooth as possible, you're trying to make each one of these layers as wide as it can possibly be. So for example, if we go down here where this, from the bare metal to the E-coat to the factory sealer to the paint, is only that short, where if we look over here, you've got bare metal, the E-coat, the sealer, the base coat, and then this lighter color is your clear coat. You've got this wide expanse. This is gonna be a lot smoother than this transition here. So we wanna try and even that out as much as possible and extend that out. That's gonna make it for better bodywork, better primer, you know, or not better primer, but better finished product in the end. We'll primer all these spots, we'll feather all this out and get pretty much this whole hood in primer, so that way we can smooth it out. On this little spot, we're actually gonna use, now we're gonna prime the rest of the car with traditional high build primer, but just kind of showing there's different options out there for people doing it at home. I mean, there's people that have paint booths at their home. And you have, you know, maybe a small spot that you don't want to mix up, you know, a ton of primer, or you don't have a ton of time to get it done before you go in the booth. This is a good last minute step that you can take that dries really quick. So what we actually have is UV reactive primer. So it goes on clear. The primer actually has a little bit of pearl in it, and that shows you what you're actually spraying. And then, you know, a UV light that we're going to use to cure the entire setup. We 180 to 180 grit the chip away, kind of feathered it out so we don't have any issues, and then I followed back with 320 grit. Now, a big misconception, I see this on a lot of these cars going down the road that did their own primer. We're not going to primer from edge to edge. If you primer all the way down, you're going to have a nice hard line. That's going to be a dip that's in your bodywork. You're kind of only covering what you need to and let that kind of wisp out there so that it's a nice tapered edge on both sides, so when we sand it, it's glassy smooth. So with UV primer, there's no put it on, let it flash, put it on, let it flash, you know, for multiple coats. We're basically gonna put this on and we're gonna do 4 back-to-back coats, and that's completely it. And then we're gonna put the ultraviolet light on there for 2 minutes straight, and then it's gonna be cured. So now that we're going, 1 coat, 2 coats, 3 coats, 4, getting progressively lighter after every time. We come back with our light, we come back about 2 feet, and we start hardening it. You can kind of see it turn white, and now we'll start a timer for 2 minutes, and then after 2 minutes, she should be completely good.
So what you're doing is you're literally drying it with ultraviolet light.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can kind of see, I don't know if you can catch it on camera, it's kind of darker down here and it gets lighter. This is where the primer actually stops. So that's old existing paint. I'm not gonna touch it, but this is where the primer actually starts. And you can kind of see it's white through there and then stops here. So we have no primer up against this edge. It's 2 minutes is dry, we'll use the cleaner and you wipe the resin off of it. We've gone through our 2 minutes. So you see we didn't put any UV light over here, and this is still slimy. But this is dry. So now what we'll do is we'll soak that down, and we'll push the resin off the surface. It's kind of hard to pick up, but that's the resin that was left over from that primer. Now, that primer is completely dry, ready to sand and put it into the booth. And at this point, it sands just like regular primer, it's just clear.
Chris, I know people are gonna ask, why on earth are you only doing this section by section rather than primering the car all at once?
Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to primer an entire car to be able to paint it. The car's already been sealed from the factory. It's already got base coat. It's like, you know, it doesn't, we're not going for a color change. We don't got body work all over the car. Most of the spots, the little imperfections that are not on the front fenders, the hood, the front bumper, while they may be some surface imperfections, they're not really going to need primer. Most of them are in the clear coat. So the fact that we're only primering just the front are the only areas that we found that had to go down to bare metal, that had to be feathered out in order to get rid of them completely. But the rest of the spots, you know, we can just sand out directly. So prepping this car for paint, typically on a color change, we would most likely primer the car just to give it one sheen where it matches. The fact that nitrous blue, the base coat, is already grabber blue means that we really don't have to spend too much time on getting base coat ready. We can just scuff this clear coat down, 800 grit the whole car, sand it smooth, and then just apply a base coat directly over top of it. We don't have to seal it. The front, where we did put the primer, we are gonna sand, we are gonna put a seal coat over it, and then we're gonna put base coat and then go to the pearl coat.
Okay, Chris, I feel like we accomplished quite a bit today.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff. Probably more annoying stuff, I guess you could say. But we got our custom paint job. We're all done.
We're done.
Reassemble the whole car.
This is it. Put it back together. Send it.
Hew, hew, hew. We got the important stuff done with the primer because the rest of it, like Chris said earlier, it's basically a base coat on its own.
Yeah.
Make sure to check out SSR Collision. They do amazing work. And if you like what you saw with Chris today, definitely hit him up. He's a good dude. And I'll make sure to put his contact info in the description below for SSR. And on that note, I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And I will see you guys next time. And take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Huge thanks to Omaze once again for sponsoring this video. Head over to omaze.com/DudeinBlue and enter for your chance to win a 2021 Porsche 911 Turbo S and $20,000, all for a great cause.